Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale tips and tricks video. In tonight's video, a lot has changed after this recent patch update with the changes to the drum gun receiving a pretty significant nerf, as well as the new weapon, which is the Tactical Assault Rifle, or the TAR as I call it just for short. Of course, Tactical Assault Rifle. Gonna talk about all that, how the meta has changed, because on a video a couple days ago, I was talking about how you could basically go drum gun only and dominate, and of course that has now switched because the meta has switched. Basically, new season's blues, I guess, are getting to the right patch, but I'll talk about all that and how to be a Fortnite god in Season 9, what to use, what playstyles working best, and different things like that. If you guys could drop a like on this video, that would be much, much appreciated. Go ahead and smack that like button. Let's go ahead and go for 324 likes. That would be absolutely incredible. Also, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I was playing last night over on my Facebook live stream, facebook.com/GreenGoblinHD. If you have a Facebook page, click on that in the description and be sure to follow. We stream there quite often. I got like 9 solo wins on the stream last night, so be sure to check that out. Smack some likes on the video, and let's get right into it. Also, this was my first game with the new John Wick skin, which I kind of like it, especially the upgraded version, or not upgraded, I guess, just the selectable version, right? All right, let's get right into it, and let's talk about it. Now, first thing is the drum gun. Now, the drum gun was by far the best gun in the game before this patch, and they nerfed the damage quite significantly, but that was it. It still has 50 in the magazine. I think a lot of people thought that was going to be targeted on the nerf. That's definitely what I thought. So the drum gun still is super duper effective, and the main thing is, of course, just your damage, your time to kill, all that is going to be down, but the weapon still serves the same purpose. And as far as a play style, what has changed, I would just say, is don't rely on the drum gun as much and use it more of how the drum gun used to be used, where back when you had like a pump or something, where the shotgun was still priority number 1, and then the drum gun was your spray weapon, or if there's a spam building or different things like that. That's sort of what I think about the drum gun. Now, when it comes down to it, it's really weird because we're in a spot where I think the game's in a good meta choice, and this video is going to be talking a lot about the meta and different weapons, because that is an important thing. If you want to dominate, if you want to be a Fortnite god, you have to carry the right item. So first of all, the assault rifles, normal assault rifles. I still carry a normal assault rifle in that first slot, unless we're in like super duper late game where it's a small circle and everyone's close anyway. And the reasoning behind that is the new tactical assault rifle is great at mid range. It's sort of like a hybrid SMG AR. That's sort of how I feel about it, because it uses light ammo. However, it's basically no recoil, but it does have limited range, you know, much like a drum gun or an SMG has, although it does have a little bit more than like an SMG. But that's what you get with the tactical assault rifle. And the thing around that is, with a tactical AR, I still like to have a normal AR in that first slot for those long range battles. I don't like carrying just a tactical AR in that first slot, where if I see someone at distance, a lot of kills in this game you're going to get are either third partying people at distance, shooting people out of the air, shooting people out of the slipstream, getting pre-damage in on a player. Like, this guy's up on a mountain. If I don't have a good long range weapon, I don't have a good spot to fight him with. You know, I don't have a good weapon to fight him with. And that's why I prefer to go with basically the normal AR still in that first slot. Now, second slot, shotguns. This is where it comes down to more and more debate. There's honestly a lot. This season, it really comes down to like choice and the power of choice and what you want to carry as far as weapons. So like I said, in my first slot, I usually go with the normal AR, specifically the SCAR if I can find that, or the fully auto ones I like to have. If I am low on medium ammo and I'm carrying, like, let's say I only have like 60 or 100 full on medium ammo, then it's a lot smarter to carry something like an AK, heavy AR, or a infantry rifle, where you might use less ammo, but still at the same time, the SCAR is still the go-to and still an absolute beamer. Now, when it comes down to shotguns and talking about that, this is an even more sticky situation, because when it comes down to the tactical assault rifle, first of all, I'll give my final thoughts on that. I think the tactical assault rifle, it's an absolute beamer. It has like no recoil, and it's a laser beam in that aspect, but it doesn't have the most DPS, which is damage per second. It has a 1.75 headshot multiplier compared to 2, which a lot of other weapons have. So when it comes to using a weapon as a traditional AR, I still prefer a SCAR, and then of course a shotgun. And then when it comes to a finishing weapon, I really do prefer the drum gun or the SMG to that new weapon as of right now, just because of the fact of the DPS and the fire rate, more particular with the fire rate, of course, goes hand in hand with DPS. And then also with the drum gun, of course, with basically the sacrifice here is with the drum gun, you're going to have 50 bullets, but you're going to have way more recoil than the TAR or the SMG. And then with the TAR, you have one that gives you a little more range on it, but won't be as much as a melt machine up close. And then with the SMG, you have one which is nice up close, but doesn't have the 50 magazine or the spray power of the drum gun. So they all have positives and negatives when it comes down to that. But usually I'm sticking with the drum gun as my spray weapon as of right now if I have medium. And then if I don't have medium, I'll go with an SMG or a TAR, really depending on the scenario. I still think the drum guns are great for just spraying down builds up close, just putting pressure on enemies, and that's sort of the purpose once you crack them with this new shotgun, and then to finish them off with that drum gun. So the new assault rifle, my thoughts on it are I'm liking it, and I think it's a mid-range god gun. However, most of my gunfights aren't mid-range. Most of them are either getting damage at long range, and then I'm moving up close. A lot of stuff doesn't really happen mid-range, and even when it does, when we go down to shotgun fights, that's where we have to talk about your shotgun fights, which is between right now the TAC and the combat shotgun. And with this one, it's more of an easy decision, really. The combat shotgun is better at range, and the TAC shotgun is better up close. It's basically that simple when it comes down to it. And especially with like I'm still debating on different levels here. Now, like if I take, I'll take a green TAC and a blue TAC over a blue combat shotgun, but I'm still debating, do I take do I take a blue TAC over a gold shotgun? Different stuff like that. I think that really depends on your playstyle. The new shotgun is not garbage. If you use it from a distance, I mean, this thing can literally hit for 70, 80, 100 from a fairly big distance. And once you crack them once with that, switch over to a drum gun or whatever you have and spray them down, it isn't that much of a gameplay change from what we were doing last season. It's just your pump. You have to decide whether to go for that second shot with the combat, which you didn't have the decision with the pump. You know, it'd be a pump build or a pump drum gun. Now you have even more decisions built in with that. So when it comes to shotgun, honestly, the TAC shotguns are up close. You can't beat them. TAC shotguns are going to be the best, especially the green and the blue. Even the gray after the buff ain't too bad. And when it comes down to the combat shotguns, they're going to reward in more of a build fight type scenario. And when it comes down to it, I think that there's going to be a lot of players who take the blue TAC over any other shotgun, and there's going to be a lot of players who take the gold over the blue, it just depending on your playstyle. And that's one where I'm still up in the air and deciding on it. I think that the blue TAC, if you are trying to get up in people's faces, that is the way to go. If you're trying to play it more of a peek edit, boom, crack them and then spray them down, then a gold or a purple combat shotgun is more of the way to go. But that's sort of how I'm feeling on the meta in this season. And honestly, to be good in this season, you have to understand this meta, because I know there's going to be a lot of new players who are just coming into this game, grabbing whatever shotgun, or not even new players, but casual players, picking up the new assault rifle, having a lot of fun with it. And while the new assault rifle is great, you have to understand what that was made for, a more mid-range, laser beam, no recoil type gameplay, when something like a drum gun, pressure spray, or a shotgun, precision, big damage to open up fights. You have to understand each of these things in your inventory and use them to the best of your ability. So that's what I'm talking about after the patch update as far as the weapons go, weapons I'm rocking with as far as right now. I still think the blue drum gun is absolutely amazing. Don't expect to just spray them down pure DPS as much anymore. Once you've got them weak, then you can expect it. And here you can see this was once again my first game with the John Wick, which was played well right as the item shop refresh. So technically this morning, even though it was last night for me because I hadn't slept yet. But anyway, you can see here still glider redeploy. So this is talking about, like I said, with the inventory. I have the SCAR for long range, which is nice. I still like the SCAR. I have the gold combat shotgun, which I've used similar to how I would use a pump last season, except like I said, knowing when to shoot that second shot. And then the drum gun, which is used like an SMG or a P90, just a spray machine, not sort of, can be directed at builds. It can be directed at basically anything, shooting people down, but a more close range thing with that. You can see here I'm putting pressure on this player. There's 4 people left, and this is where glider redeploys come in nice and handy, especially in a casual game where not as many people, like it's not like arena where people are playing different heights. I can just control the air myself, slide on over right here, and by using this glider redeploy, I'm able to maneuver and honestly save myself some mats because I can just glide through the air instead of having to connect. Like you saw that guy below me, he was connecting wood the whole way. Now he's up on brick. I'm running up on him here. Boom, approach with the scar. And right there, that's where I like to still have a scar. Like, the tar could do that, but it wouldn't hit as hard. 70 on a headshot is super duper nasty with the scar. And then I'm putting the pressure on this guy, but I don't want to overcommit. And this is a scenario where I could lose fights in the past. If I put the pressure on that guy right there because I have him really weak and most likely I'm going to kill him, right? But I knew that third party was also just ramping up right there. So I would be putting myself in a scenario where if I kill that guy, but he cracks me once with attack, I'm in a bad position for that final fight. This is sort of what I talked about in my last video, positioning myself for that final fight. Right here, we exchange cracks with the new shotgun. I take my time, I pop a shield, I come around the corner, and basically I'm able to use that shotgun to finish it off. So the meta has changed. Shotguns are still the go-to, but your mid-range, and there's a lot of choice when it comes to your AR and your SMG games, which you have to keep track of your light ammo and your medium ammo being super duper valuable. But when it comes down to it, the new assault rifle is amazing for a mid-range sort of playstyle, drum gun for a spraying, SMG for just a finishing up close, and then you have both your shotguns and then still traditional ARs, which I still value as great weapons. Maybe an arena or something where you're not shooting people at as far as a distance, but when you're playing a normal match and you're shooting people out of the sky for free kills every game, I like to hold on to that scar or that super duper long range AR or some sort of weapon at range. Thanks for watching though. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next video, and I'm out. Peace.